Widows is directed by Steve McQueen and is also written by Gillian Flynn, who was the author of the original book of Gone Girl that was adapted into a film in 2014. And this has quite a big cast. You got Viola Davis, Liam Neeson, Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out, John Bertho
for whatever small role. I've never seen that small role
besides Baby Driver.
Yeah. No, this one was like 45 seconds was his screen time.
Oh yeah.
God damn, 45 seconds? What's the point of even being in the movie?
Yeah. And then you got Colin Farrell, Robert Vaughn, huge list of stars. Yeah. And this basically it's a heist film that deals with. It's pretty self-explanatory. You have Liam Neeson's heist that goes wrong, where him and his men get killed, and it leaves the wives of the men involved left as widows. And they discover that there's this crime boss named Manning who
they
realize that their husbands had robbed from, and this is a guy who was actually running for as I think it was mayor, or was it?
It's in the trailer, so it's not spoilers. But it was
it's basically
he's running for mayor, and they robbed him, and basically he gives these women 4 weeks to come up with $2 million, or they'll all be killed.
Yeah, and then basically it's up to Viola Davis to string together the other women, including Michelle Rodriguez and Elizabeth Debicki, I believe, the girl who played the girl from Aisha from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
And another thing that he left out in the plot is when the husbands die, they found out that they can get the money by using plans that the husband left over, and basically guides every step that they could take to successfully pulling the job off that he was meant to get the next one.
Yeah. Now here's a little backstory. Now this film was directed by Steve McQueen, who's done other films such as Shame, which I saw parts of, and then also 12 Years a Slave, which I saw little pieces here and there, but I haven't fully watched that movie. And apparently this movie was also based on a TV show from the 80s that was from it was a British TV show.
Yeah.
And from the trailers, I got really interested in this movie because I liked these type of I like that we're getting heist movies again, that are going for that gritty kind of 90s feel.
Yeah, the gritty 90s
from Heat and things like hell. Even just earlier we just had movies like Den of Thieves that came out.
Yeah.
So this movie actually got me really sold on the kind of
gritty Baby Driver last year.
Yeah. So this movie kind of really got me interested with that. And I gotta say that upon seeing the film, while I did enjoy it, it was quite underwhelmed compared to what a lot of people were thinking about it.
What I got out of the trailers was I thought I was going to get this running scared, Heat,
set it off from
Training Day, brutality, and because of my thinking by the way it looked all gritty, I was thinking I was going to get that. And because I went in there thinking I was going to get that, I came out very underwhelmed. And there are good elements in this film, and it's got some good parts, but it's heavily flawed for me.
Yeah, I got you. Well, to get my pros out of the way, I'll say the cast were all phenomenal.
Yes.
The one for me that stands out, the dude that's Viola Davis, who, if we know her, she's been around, she's been acting movies so long, especially in Suicide Squad. No matter
Suicide Squad, she's gotten really big.
Yeah, no matter the film, it seems like she always goes for, she goes all out. She really puts so much into this movie.
Viola Davis really stood out number one for me. She's the best part. She's the best part in this movie.
Her and I like the other girl, the Elizabeth Debicki. I thought that her character I found really really interesting in, and both her and Viola Davis I think really stood out for me the best.
Yeah, she was pretty decent too. Another thing I like to praise, I like to praise, but I also have a con with it at the same time. The guy from Get Out he kind of plays not the main villain, but he's kind of like
the brother,
the henchman. He's like a henchman for his brother's main thing, and that gets his money stolen. He starts out very cool villain, and the guy plays a very good villain.
Yeah, he was intimidating as fuck.
And they start out intimidating, but then something happens in the second half that really the character just falls off the wagon.
Yeah.
And that's a writing problem right there.
Yeah, it's one of those things, because I like Daniel Kaluuya as an actor. I think he is a good job, but I think to me this is probably on a performance level, he was fucking out of this. Some I'd never seen him play before. Like he really like every scene he was in, I was like on the edge. I was like, fuck, this dude is intimidating.
Well, here's the problem. I want to see them do where he plays a villain a whole fucking movie, because this, I will get in my cons in a second, but there's something like he starts out like what I was like, whoa, this motherfucker's brutal, and then it's like you went from that to goddamn fucking a pussy. I'm like, that was a fucking stupid change.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get my cons about that in a second, more detail. But
I really got into him, and I also got really.
I like the grittiness.
Yeah,
of the
gritty, the grittiness, the way that the film really takes the kind of realism approach. Mm-hmm. I actually got into
realism.
The way it's grounded is really good, because it feels like you're getting into a lot of the stuff going on with. The characters' lives and stuff like that. And also, you see some of the other reasons why they don't, because not going to spoil a thing, but there's another character that they bring up that's part of the stuff that happened, and there's a reason they don't use that character for the
I did like how it was grounded in the realism and all that stuff. I really, really enjoyed. And on the realism standpoint, I really like, because we've seen movies like Oceans where it's too over the top, and that shit ain't gonna really go down in real life. There ain't nobody can pull off heists like that these days. Yeah. It's pretty much impossible. And this one doesn't do that, which actually is a pro for me, and goes to a more realistic approach, and it actually shows these girls don't know what the fuck they're doing, instead of how Daniel was able to get his guys in, and even in Ocean's 8 they were able to get the girls, and these girls are like fucking geniuses.
That's what I'm saying.
That one,
convenient.
I don't like convenient, over the top, even though some of them can be very entertaining. This one was a nice change, but still a lot of problems. Yeah. There's such thing as being too grounded, and I'm about to get into that in my cons.
Yeah, but the other thing I'll say is the way that the movie, it does have some neat kind of twists and turns, like later in the movie, that I got into as well, that they approached, because there is something like towards the end that I got into, why this happened. And basically, and also I do like the way some of the camera work works too, because the director knows how to use a lot of
camera work on some of the scenes, especially like the car scenes. Yeah, there's that one part I'm not going to mention. That was like, I like when he shoots like that, and it was a shame because we get scenes like that, but then it seems like he don't use that to his potential throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
But I loved it when he did.
But I also got to admit, too, this movie had a lot of fucking intense, brutal scenes that happened, too. Like it's not like overly brutal, but there are some moments where it just comes out of nowhere. It's like the opening scene. It's like, it gets you right there.
Yeah, the opening scene, well, here's the problem with this, is the movie opens up, doesn't even waste no second. It just opens up and you're like, God damn, is this what we're getting into?
Yeah.
The whole fucking movie? But then it actually is twist backwards, because it literally starts off on a high note, and then as it goes as if it's backwards, where it gets slower as the movie gets to an end. And usually
the end,
up
at the very end.
No, the end is what you think you would see in the beginning of the movie. Instead, it has it ass backwards, where the epicness and all the best shit is really at the beginning. First half. In my opinion, the first half is doable. It's the second half that I kind of started losing interest, because it seemed like they went too grounded.
Yeah. And
too safe.
And that's what I'm saying. I could agree with you on that. Now, well, to an extent, but for the most part, I still got into what the movie did with it. Mm-hmm. Now here's where we get to our cons. Now, as much, like I said, I'm different on him on this, because I do love the gritty realism, but I do agree with him to the point, because the movie takes its time with getting to know our characters and things like that. When it gets to pretty much near the end, it comes to a point where there's really no resolvement on certain things.
Really not.
Yeah, they have characters in this film that, or at least a couple of them, that are the main focus throughout, and then they're just fucking gone by the end of it.
This movie has a lot of story going on, because you want to get to know your main girls, then you get a story where these two guys are going against each other for a ward mayor, and then that, we've already mentioned about the money being stolen from one of them, and you had the other ward mayor played by Colin Farrell, and then he has a dad, which is played by Robert Duvall, and then you got their kind of dad-son battle back and forth. One don't like his son might ruin their legacy, da-da-da-da-da. Then you have a twist that we can't mention because it'd be spoiler. And then the money, I'm not going to tell you who it's stolen from because that's a spoiler. It's just, it gets really messy towards the end. And there, like he said, there's no resolvement on a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's like three or three fucking things going on that's never resolved. And one of them is resolved, but it was really underwhelming whenever it happened.
Yeah.
It just abruptly, I was like, that's a nice twist. And then it becomes practically pointless because it lasted for boom.
Yeah, it should have been a lot more impactful. Yeah, I agree to that, but that's what I'm saying. Now, the things that I really also couldn't get into that I had a hard time with was that you have scenes that are supposed to be, making the plot go along, but there are some scenes that do kind of feel like they stretch it out a little too much. Like there's a subplot involving where the main girl, like Alice, who basically is working as an escort for this guy, and they spend scenes quite a lot with them that really didn't need to happen much if you really think about it. Besides
there's a purpose where she's after something, and she gets exactly that purpose pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But then we get a lot of scenes where they're just doing nothing but fucking. Why can't I come to your other house? Because he's kind of buying he has a secondary. I guess you could say maybe he's cheating on his wife. You don't know if he's married. I think he is.
No, he probably
is because he's like, no, I ain't bringing you, ain't my wife. Then you get her. She's thinking there's something that she can get out of it, and it's more just stretching. It's adding too much fat, and the problem with this film was there was too much fat in this film, and it needed
filler.
To be trimmed.
There was
too much fillers.
There was filler that could have been trimmed off a lot, and that did kind of hurt the pacing a little bit for me because not too much, but it did really feel like it dragged along too much with that.
And me, I'm different. I was there. To me, I felt like the pacing is a big problem in this film. Because I felt like there was way more fat. There was a part where you get a lot of flashback scenes of Violet seeing her and Liam Neeson, because she was in love with him, and she's all crying. Then you get these dream sequences as if he's right next to her, or he's talking to her. And then there's another backstory with a kid.
Yeah.
And I just felt like when it gets to certain stuff, and then they're going where their kid is has a nice car and he's just doing some other extra shit. Yeah, it's just, I'm not going to go any more in that because it'll spoil, but it just felt like they're stretching things. I got you. I'm just where is this leading to?
I liked where that went because it did, like we were saying earlier, it leads to something big.
It does lead to something big.
I can't, but basically, my problem was that they also had stuff that was in this film that they really could have,
I'm about to get into my big one after you.
I'm trying to see where I was.
All right. I gotta, while I'm on it right now, I'm remembering my biggest problem. This was a villainless movie, in my opinion. We start out where we do have villains, and they're doing brutal shit, only to, in the middle of the movie, something happens where they don't want too much heat getting involved. They tell, all right, no more brutality. And then basically you don't see any more brutality, no one's really a villain or holding the villain role.
Yeah.
And then you hit that twist, but it lasts abruptly so quickly, it ended in 2 seconds. And then basically you question yourself at the end of the movie, who was the villain?
Yeah, it was really. I get the intention they were going for, like you were saying with with the realism they're going for. I guess that's why I'm different, because they were going for more of that gritty angle. But I agree that it should have been written better than what they went with.
Yeah.
Especially with those characters.
Yeah, because especially a wasted opportunity, because the guy who does play in Get Out, who is playing the like a henchman, he was pretty intimidating at first.
Yeah.
And they wasted him in the second half.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But I mean, there's more we want to go in detail, but we don't want to spoil too much. But I'll say that those are really my two biggest things the most, is that there was a lot of things they should have added more for us to impact the story. But because I was still really getting into the story, and I really liked how it really worked well in the end, despite the ending not making, like, having its wrapping up stuff. Overall, I still really got into it.
I will say there's one more con I just now popped in my head. And this is something I just gotta laugh at. So, in the beginning of the film, these women lose their husbands in this tragic accident.
Yeah.
Other than Viola Davis, which kind of shows that she truly loved her husband, and her husband, well, there's something, I'm not going to get anything right now, other than he loves her.
Yeah.
He kissing, you get a lot of kissing scenes. He shows compassion. You know, they seem like they were a happy relationship.
Yeah.
But the rest of the men, because this film plays a different format where while the beginning is taking place where they do lead to where they get killed, you get a small clip scene of their backstory with their wives.
Yeah.
And all the other husbands deserve to die.
Yeah.
Because there were some piece of shits. Like,
they were.
John Bertho was a fucking woman abuser. He was punching the shit out of his wife. The other one, Michelle Rodriguez's husband, he basically told her, "Fuck you. I'm gonna steal all your money and then get in debt and shit."
Yeah.
It's like they all deserve to fucking die.
Yeah.
Really. And I didn't have no sympathy at all.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was intentional, but I thought it was supposed to be sad.
Yeah, because
I wasn't.
Mean, the movie's trying to make you feel sad for the wives, but it's like
I'm not. I think that was a good thing they fucking the husbands died, because they were getting they were pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Other than, well, I'm not gonna say it, but yeah, the husbands were pieces of shit.
Yeah. So, but overall, I mean, despite a lot of the flaws that I did have with the film, I can say that I still enjoyed it to a certain extent. So with that, I'm gonna give it probably just a compelling grade on the Film Phreeks meter. Yeah,
I'm gonna go different from him. I'm gonna go a very low average Joe rating on the Film Phreeks meter. Not a good night for movies for me, because we saw Fantastic Beasts earlier, and I did not see this coming at all, being such a disappointing night. I mean,
I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you who have also seen Widows, let us know in the comments below of what you thought about it. And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like, subscribe to our channel, and check out some other reviews here and our website at filmphreeks.com. And we'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.
Later.